When we talk about safety, the United States is often seen as a global leader, strong, advanced, protected. But numbers don't lie. From mass shootings to violent crime rates, the U.S. consistently ranks behind dozens of countries when it comes to actual safety on the ground. The idea that the U.S. is one of the safest places to live is not just outdated, it's misleading. If you look beyond the headlines and past the patriotic soundbites, you'll discover a very different reality. A reality where people in other nations live without the constant worry of gun violence, political unrest, or soaring healthcare bills after an emergency. In this video, we take you through 10 countries that are statistically and experientially safer than the United States, not just in numbers, but in how it feels to live and move through the streets day to day. No exaggerations, no comparisons based on one metric, just facts, clarity, and a deeper look at what real-world safety actually means in 2025. Let's break the illusion and explore 10 places where you can live, travel, and raise a family more peacefully than in the US.
1. Japan. Japan is often held up as a global symbol of discipline, order, and respect, and its safety record proves it. With some of the lowest crime rates in the developed world, Japan offers a sense of calm that few countries can replicate. What's striking about Japan isn't just the lack of violence, it's the cultural attitude toward harmony. Public spaces are clean, people are respectful, and crime, particularly violent crime, is rare. Gun ownership is heavily restricted. Street crime is almost unheard of in many cities, including Tokyo, the largest metropolitan area on Earth. Children walk to school alone, even in big cities. Women feel safe walking at night. Police presence is subtle but effective, and legal consequences are swift and serious. Japan also has a high-functioning emergency response system, disaster preparedness protocols, and one of the world's best healthcare systems, all of which contribute to real, lived safety, not just good statistics. In short, Japan doesn't just rank well in reports, it feels safe. From the moment you step into its cities, there's a rhythm of trust and responsibility you can sense, one that's largely absent in many parts of the United States.
2. Iceland. Iceland isn't just beautiful, it's one of the safest countries on the planet year after year. With a population just over 370,000, this Nordic island nation consistently ranks number 1 in the Global Peace Index. What makes Iceland different? For one, it has no standing military, extremely low incarceration rates, and almost no violent crime. Gun ownership exists, but the culture around it is highly responsible. Guns are mostly used for hunting and are regulated strictly. Social trust is high. Police don't even carry guns in most areas. Crimes against tourists or women are incredibly rare. You'll see unlocked homes and cars even in the capital, Reykjavik. The judicial system focuses on rehabilitation rather than punishment. The result? A country where people don't fear their neighbors or their government. Natural disasters are possible, but Iceland is extremely prepared for them. In Iceland, you feel safety not through surveillance or force, but through social cohesion, honesty, and transparency. It's not a perfect country, but it offers a level of peace that's deeply uncommon in the modern world.
3. New Zealand. New Zealand offers one of the most balanced safety profiles of any developed country. It combines low crime rates, tight gun control, political stability, and a welcoming culture, making it safer than the US by nearly every measurable standard. Violent crime is rare, and police are generally seen as part of the community, not as a threat. After the 2019 Christchurch mosque attacks, New Zealand responded with rapid gun law reforms, showing political willpower to protect its citizens. But safety here isn't just about guns or crime. It's also about mental health, community support, and social equality. New Zealand has a strong public healthcare system, disaster readiness for earthquakes and volcanoes, and an educational system that emphasizes empathy and indigenous inclusion. Nature is wild, yes, but the country is incredibly prepared for emergencies. Even for solo female travelers, New Zealand is considered one of the best places to explore without fear. Add to that a generally friendly, laid-back population, and you get a nation where people genuinely look out for one another, not out of fear, but out of values. In New Zealand, safety is baked into the way society functions, not just into its laws. 4. Portugal. Portugal might not be the first country that comes to mind when you think of safety, but it should be. With one of the lowest crime rates in Europe, this southern European nation is a quiet powerhouse of peace. Portugal is ranked among the top 10 safest countries by the Global Peace Index. Violent crime is rare, and even petty theft is lower than in many other tourist-heavy nations. Police are generally respected and non-aggressive, and social trust is high. What's most impressive is the decriminalization of drugs in 2001. Rather than punish users, Portugal invested in healthcare and addiction treatment. The result? Drug-related deaths and crime rates dropped dramatically, a model many countries are now studying. Guns are regulated, political stability is high, and the healthcare system is universal and accessible. For retirees, digital nomads, or families, Portugal offers not just beauty, but peace of mind. The culture values conversation, time, and human connection. Children play in the streets. It's a kind of everyday safety you only understand when you see it up close. 5. Finland. Finland is calm, composed, and quietly one of the most secure nations on Earth. The country boasts extremely low crime, a world-class education system, and one of the lowest levels of corruption globally. But what truly sets Finland apart is its social stability. People trust their institutions, their neighbors, and even their politicians. Gun ownership exists, but is tightly regulated. Mass shootings are almost non-existent. Police are well-trained, generally unarmed, and respected for their fairness. Finland consistently ranks high in global happiness and safety indexes. Part of that comes from a strong welfare state, universal health care, and policies that address the root causes of crime, like poverty and isolation. Public spaces are well maintained. Children walk to school. Parents feel secure. Even during political transitions, society remains calm and predictable. It's a nation built not on force or fear, but on quiet, sustainable strength. 6. Canada. Canada shares a border with the United States, but in terms of safety, the two countries often feel worlds apart. Canada's violent crime rate is significantly lower than that of the US, particularly when it comes to gun violence. Gun laws are strict. There's no widespread culture of civilian weapon carrying, and mass shootings are rare. Policing in Canada, while not without criticism, is more community-focused. Law enforcement generally operates with a less militarized presence than in many US cities. People trust their public institutions, including healthcare and education, which adds to a collective sense of security. Healthcare is free at the point of service, emergency services are reliable, natural disasters, while present, are well managed, and most importantly, Canada doesn't experience the kind of political volatility or civil unrest that's become increasingly common in the US. Canada also ranks high for quality of life, mental well-being, and civic freedoms. From small towns to large cities like Vancouver and Ottawa, it's common for people to feel safe walking alone, even at night. It's not a utopia, but in many measurable ways, it's a safer, more stable society than its southern neighbor. 7. Austria. Austria may be famous for its alpine beauty and music heritage, but it's also one of Europe's most peaceful and orderly nations. The country ranks highly in the Global Peace Index thanks to low levels of crime, strong public safety infrastructure, and a deeply rooted respect for the rule of law. Violent crime is rare. Petty theft exists, but is far less aggressive than in major U.S. cities. The legal system is efficient. Police are trained in de-escalation and community engagement, and their presence feels more protective than confrontational. Austria also has strong social services. Healthcare is universal, education is accessible, and wealth inequality, a major driver of crime in other nations, is comparatively low. Safety here isn't just about physical security, it's about social harmony. Streets are clean, transit systems are reliable. Political discourse, even when tense, rarely spills into violence. Whether you're living in a small village or walking through Vienna at night, Austria feels composed and secure, a calm center in an often chaotic world. 8. Singapore. Singapore is often called one of the safest cities on Earth, and for good reason. With nearly non-existent violent crime, zero tolerance for corruption, and one of the most efficient police forces in the world, Singapore has built a reputation for public safety that few nations can match. What's behind the numbers? Strict laws, yes, but also a cultural emphasis on discipline, order, and civic pride. Littering, vandalism, and drug offenses carry serious penalties. The result is a clean, organized, and remarkably secure environment. Surveillance is high, and critics point to a lack of civil liberties in some areas. But for most residents and visitors, the daily experience is one of exceptional safety, especially compared to urban life in many U.S. cities. Public transport is spotless. Streets are well lit. Women report feeling safe at all hours. Even during periods of political change or global disruption, Singapore remains stable and predictable. It's a country where rules are enforced, but also where the social contract is respected. People look out for one another, and the system, while strict, largely works. 9. Slovenia. Slovenia is one of Europe's best-kept secrets, and also one of its safest nations. This small Central European country boasts low violent crime, minimal political unrest, and a deeply connected society where people trust each other and their institutions. Slovenia is a full member of the European Union and Schengen area, meaning it benefits from shared security infrastructure and cross-border cooperation. Police are professional, non-aggressive, and known for community-based approaches. Public healthcare and education are strong. Roads are well maintained. Emergency services are reliable and responsive. And most importantly, the pace of life is calm. Even in the capital, Ljubljana, the energy feels slow. Slovenia doesn't make global headlines, and maybe that's part of its safety. It's not a nation of extremes. It's a place where people quietly thrive. 10. Norway. Norway is one of the safest, most peaceful, and most developed countries in the world. It consistently ranks at the top of global safety and happiness indexes, and for good reason. Violent crime is extremely low. Gun ownership exists, but regulations are strict and cultural attitudes toward weapons are restrained. Mass shootings are almost unheard of. What truly defines Norway's safety, though, is its social model. Universal healthcare, accessible education, and generous social support reduce inequality, one of the root causes of crime. Mental health services are integrated into the system, helping prevent rather than react to violence. The justice system focuses on rehabilitation, not punishment. Police are trained to use force only as a last resort, and there is deep public trust in governance. Norway also has one of the best emergency preparedness systems in Europe. From avalanches to storms, the country is built to endure. Daily life feels predictable, respectful, and low in fear. Children play freely, neighbors know one another, and citizens believe in their institutions, something increasingly rare in the modern world. Safety isn't just about crime statistics. It's about how free people feel. It's about trust in the systems that are supposed to protect you. And in many of the countries we've covered, that trust is still intact. So whether you're considering travel, relocation, or simply expanding your understanding of the world, know this: the US is not the only or even the best model of what safety looks like. Sometimes true security comes not from power, but from stability, not from control, but from connection, and not from fear, but from the quiet strength of societies that choose peace every single day.